guys, thanks for clicking on the video and welcome back to Craft, the Learning Bushcraft channel. Today we're going to be carrying on with my Learning from Ray Mears kind of playlist, and today we're going to talk about how to light a fire. Being able to light a fire is probably the most fundamental skill that any bushcrafter or survivalist needs. You know, it's our most versatile tool. It helps us kill microorganisms in things like food and water. It provides us with light and warmth. It really is kind of at the heart of everything kind of bushcraft and survivalist. And more than anything else, it kind of provides us with sort of a focal point whenever we're camping, everyone gathering around the fire. It's a real sort of, it provides a real sense of community. You know, it gives us the opportunity to share ideas with each other and share our experiences. So it really kind of creates a sense of community within a camp. I have some experience when it comes to lighting fires, but not enough. You know, it's something that I really want to hone and make sure I know and I can do it whenever I need to. You know, the conditions that I've been camping in so far have not been overly strenuous, but I want to do some real kind of more challenging stuff. Like I really want to go to Sweden and go into the boreal forests and go to places like Algonquin and woodland caribou in Canada. And there, you know, particularly in the colder months, being able to light a fire is absolutely vital. So I really want to kind of hone my skills and be able to create fires using different kind of techniques. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use my Ray Mears Out on the Land book to look at some different ways of doing that. I'm planning to try and start 3 different types of fire today. I'm going to try and do a split wood fire, a snapwood fire, and a feather stick fire. So it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully I won't mess it up too bad, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get to it. So to make my fire, I'm going to need tinder, I'm going to need a source of ignition, I'm going to need kindling, and I'm going to need some fuel. It's also worth me thinking about where and how to light the fire, the type of fire that I'm going to build, and also how to maintain it, and really importantly how to extinguish it when we're done. I'll go through all of these in a bit of detail using the book, so that hopefully by the end of it we'll have a much better idea of how to light a few different types of fire and how to maintain them. So let's start right at the top. Let's start with tinder. The most important step in fire lighting is being able to produce a reliable flame, which isn't quite as simple as just striking a match or using a lighter, because while they do produce a flame, as I'm sure you guys know, that flame is really fragile and can go out even at the smallest kind of gust of wind. So to be considered reliable, your flame needs to be larger, more constant, stronger, and less vulnerable to kind of inclement weather. And this is kind of where tinder comes in. It's critically important to combustion because it links your source of ignition to your kindling. So according to the book, it can come in many different guises, but generally we're looking for a mass of thin, dry, fibrous or shaved fuel that will ignite easily. The term can equally be applied to materials apparently that combust due to their chemical composition, so man-made kind of stuff. So therefore tinder is defined as any material that can be easily ignited with a match or with sparks. So there's only one kind of universally available tinder, which is the shavings of core, or the shavings from the core of dead standing wood. There's loads of stuff that you could take with you, and I'll have a look through the book and kind of show you some of the stuff that Mr. Mears suggests. But the thing that I'm going to be focusing on today is using the shavings of core, using the shavings from the core of standing dead wood. I do also have some cotton wool with me, which is a really good tinder that I know you've seen me use before. But that, as I say, we're going to kind of try and focus on the dead standing wood, so that I have to carry less, really, because it'll be more fun, I think. So there are loads of other types of tinder that you could use, so I'll just run you through very quickly what the book says about those. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a shot of the book as well so you can actually see. So here we go. These are some examples of shavings from the core of dead standing wood, which is, as I say, what we're going to try and recreate. But according to the book, there's loads of other stuff that we could use as well. One of the most common ones that is used by loads and loads of different bushcrafters is barks from various different trees, primarily birch bark, and there's a whole section in here about how to use birch bark to light a fire. Apparently birch bark is absolutely amazing because of the resins and stuff in it. It'll light even if it's really wet. Unfortunately, where I am at the moment, I don't have kind of birch bark or various barks available to me, so this is kind of the reason why I'm focusing on the shavings, because, as I say, you kind of got to use what's available to you, haven't you? So there's loads of other barks that you can use. For example, over here it talks about juniper, cedar, poplar. You know, there's loads of different stuff that you could use, various different types of lichen, etc, etc. As I say, unfortunately I don't have those available, so I can't use them, but it's good to know that there are this kind of stuff available. There's also loads of different types of fungi and stuff that you can use. I've seen quite a few different videos on this kind of stuff, and most of the time I think it generally involves, particularly with things like fungi, creating a spark or an ember and then using a tinder bundle and blowing it into life, which is definitely something that I want to have a go at. But as I say, I'll have to do that on a different day. But yeah, as I say, there's loads and loads of different stuff in here. Things like using candles, which I think is pretty cool. Even using rubber, apparently. You can, if you have like an old tire or inner tube or something like that, you can actually shave it, cut it down into really small strips and use that as a tinder as well, which I think is very, very cool. So what I have here, guys, is the core of some dead standing wood, and as you can see, I'm trying to create shavings by running my blade across the wood to create very thin kind of curls. Now I'm not very good at this, but I tell you what, the more you practice, the easier it does become, because these aren't looking too shabby. Now that is probably a little bit too thick, there's too much wood attached here, but I'm creating a pile anyway, so we're going to carry on and see how we get on. Okay, so while mine may not quite be as good as the ones in the book, I've managed to create a few, so hopefully these will work. Okay, so now that I've got my tinder sorted in the form of some wood shavings and some cotton wool, the next thing that I need in order to make a fire is a source of ignition, which according to the book is either a flame or sparks. So what I have on me are good old-fashioned box of matches and a fire steel, which when it's struck along it creates sparks, like so. It's always really important when you're striking a fire steel that you use the back of your knife. If you're using a knife, or I mean ideally use a striker, that you don't use the blade, you use the back of the knife, which ideally if you've got a bushcraft knife will be square, so that you've got a good edge to create sparks with. So that's what I've got. Right, after tinder, the next link in the fire chain is kindling. So according to the book, this is the small fuel that creates a flame that is strong enough to ignite full-size fuel. Generally, kindling ranges in thickness from matchstick to thumb width thickness, and should be used progressively from thin to thick, so you're really helping to build up the flame. The thinnest kindling is the most important. To be certain of success when fire lighting in bad weather, ensure that you have a mass of good kindling. Never shortcut this step in fire making. Perhaps the most common mistakes made by novice firelights are using too little kindling and kindling of poor quality, which is something that I have most definitely done in the past. According to this, there are two different types of kindling. There are snapwood and splitwood, and as I said before, I'm going to try and start a fire with both. So, let me just put that down. So snapwood is what I have here. I've amassed a whole bunch of it. It's really thin. really thin, really dry, really dead sticks that, as the name suggests, you can snap really easily. These should go up really quickly, and as the book said, you need a lot of it, so I have created a big bundle that takes me 2 hands to carry. So that's my snap wood. Split wood, as the name suggests as well, is going back to splitting some wood down to get at the really the really core bit of the wood itself. I think it's probably the most commonly used kindling, namely because it's so readily available, and as long as you've got a knife or an axe, it's actually very easy to process. So I'm going to split some down. I'll show you me doing that, and I'll get back to you in a second. So I've split a load of wood down to get it to the core of the dead wood. I've tried to make them sort of thumb to finger thickness. Hopefully you can see that, with some thinner bits at the end, because apparently that's going to be important when I light my split wood fire. The only other bit after this, of course, we've done, what have we done? We've done we've done tinder, we've done our ignition source, we've got our kindling, so we've got split wood kindling and we've got snap wood kindling over there. Obviously the next step, once your fire is going, is the fuel itself. So fuel counts more as the bigger pieces of wood that you're going to burn, which I think generally go up to about arm thickness, forearm thickness, at least to start with, and then obviously depending upon what type of fire you build, you could end up burning, you know, big logs. So I've got a little bit of fuel kind of here, which are these bigger pieces, which I've literally just chopped down, sawed down. I haven't split them or anything, which, as I say, aren't massive pieces, because as we said before, we need to feed the fire gradually. So we start with the smaller pieces and build up to the thicker pieces once the fire's really going and you know you've got a really good bed of coals. Yeah. So we're all set up, it seems. So let's have a look at how we start a fire properly now. So when choosing a fire site, there's a few things that you need to take into consideration. I mean, a lot of this is common sense. It should be fairly obvious, but we'll cover it just in case. So it says, wherever possible, site your fire close to water for convenience so that it can easily be extinguished where necessary, and try and find a sort of a good mineral base for your fire. So we're talking in terms of the ground, so something like soil or sand, a gravel bar in a river, or a rocky ledge. Basically, don't light your fire if there's anything that's really decaying and dry and easily burnable on the floor. It should be fairly simple. You want to be as safe as possible and control your fire as best you can. In the deep snow, apparently the best thing to do is actually dig out the snow down to the frozen ground. If you light your fire on the top of it, obviously it's going to melt the snow at some point, and the fire's going to sink, and you're going to lose all of the warmth. Not an issue today, but something that I will hopefully need to bear in mind in the future when I do some other trims. So yeah, so where I am right now, sorry about the wind, by the way, I know it's really windy, hopefully you can still hear me. Where I am now, it's been raining for a few days, so the ground is actually kind of nice and moist, and there's lots and lots of sort of damp soil around, so I'm not worried about it getting out of hand at all. So I'm in a good spot. The first fire that we're going to try and do is the snapwood fire. I'll show you what it looks like in the book, I'll set it up, and then we'll try and light it. Let's go. This is how we light a fire with snapwood. So we start with a base of just snapped, sort of thumb thick, I think, limbs, and then we cross our snapwood over it with the thicker ends of the twigs at the bottom and the thinner ends at the top, so hopefully it will light more quickly. Pop your tinder in the middle, kind of in the middle of the pyramid, and then wait for the flames to come through the top before you start to add larger pieces of fuel. So that seems relatively simple, so I'll set it up and we'll have a go. According to the book, the sticks that we want to use need to be kind of the length of your entire arm, which seems pretty crazy to me, but whatever, Ray Mears knows best, so we'll try it. Looked like he has more kindling in the book than I've got here, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run around and see if I can find some more, build this up a bit, and then we'll try and light it. I'm going to use cotton wool and the fire steel for this one, so I'm just going to fluff up the cotton wool a bit, make it nice and fibrous. What the best thing to do apparently when you're using cotton wool is to cover it in some kind of petroleum jelly like Vaseline or something like that, which I do have but regrettably don't have with me right now because I forgot it. So this should still work, he says confidently. It should still take a spark really easily. So let's give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to light it and I'm going to kind of shove it underneath, I think, so hopefully the fire will catch all of the twigs. So let's get my fire steel out. Easier said than done, apparently. Okay. And cotton wool is off. Alright, that has not worked. That's a shame. Wonder why. Maybe some of the sticks aren't. Maybe some of the sticks are too thick. So let's reset and try again. Okay, maybe I was a bit too ambitious with the types of sticks that I had on before, so I've taken away lots of the thicker ones and I've just tried to leave the really thin ones on. So we'll try again. Here we go. Attempt number 2. Wah, wah. Fail. Okay, attempt number 2 is a failure as well. I'm going to consult the book and see what we need to do differently. I've had an idea. I don't know if it's because the tinder I'm using, the cotton wool, burnt up too quickly and it just went out straight away, that the rest of it didn't take. So I've created kind of a tinder bundle. I found some dry grass from just over the way there, and I put the cotton wool in the middle of it, and I thought I could try setting this up, getting this on fire and then popping it underneath to see under the snap wood to see if it made any difference, and perhaps that would actually take the flame. So we'll try that, and if not, we may have to move on to the split wood fire. We shall see. Okay, wish me luck. Attempt number 3. Come on, baby. Take. Oh, slightly more successful. Ah, the flame's coming through. Banging. So we'll quickly add some other thinner sticks, because we don't want it to go out. Start to build up our flame. Ha! Genius. If at first you don't succeed, make a bigger fire. Nice. Sticking it, Joe. Whoa. Careful you don't set yourself on fire. Alright, so after a few false starts with the snapwood fire, we got it going. Really case in point that the tinder is the most important part. You saw that I had to find some dry grass, which is a really good tinder, make a tinder bundle, put some cotton wool in it and light that, and that really, that maintained flame really made such a difference. Shut up! Ah. You done? That reliable flame made a massive difference to actually getting it going. So lesson learned. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that. So what's next? Next we're going to do the snapwood fire. Not snapwood fire. We've just done the snapwood fire. We're going to do the splitwood fire. This time I'm going to try and use the cluster shavings that I created. I'm going to try and light these off my fire steel and see if I can get a fire going with the splitwood. So again, I'll show you what it looks like in the book. I'll set it up and we'll have a go. Wonder how many attempts this is going to take me. Okay, so how to light the fire with split wood. So similar kind of setup in that we need a nice base. We form a V kind of shape or a triangular kind of shape. Pop the tinder in the middle of it. They're suggesting using birch bark, which I don't have. So I'm going to try it with the clusters. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we'll have a go anyway. Cool. This says that if there's a breeze, arrange the fire so that the breeze is blowing into the triangle. As you guys can probably tell, it is quite windy today, so we'll definitely have to try and take that into consideration. Yeah, all right, let's set it up. Okay, wish me luck. Maybe there's a reason that they use birch bark with this. I'm really struggling to light these clusters using just a spark. Come on, baby. Okay. It's now starting to rain. Not good for my camera, so maybe we'll try just with a match, shall we? This is proving to be really difficult. Let's try a different tinder, shall we? On to try and get the flame going. Well, there you have it, guys. Regrettably, I'm not going to be able to do the third fire, the feather stick fire, because it's starting to rain and I'm going to have to put my camera away. But thank you very much for watching the video. I've certainly learned a lot today, particularly about the importance of tinder, and creating that initial spark is really, really tough. I found that the dry grass that I found around here was so useful to create a tinder bottom to really help sustain that reliable flame, which is something that I'll definitely be taking with me in the future. Hopefully to other places that I go, like this weekend when I go camping, there might be some more different tinders available, things like fungi and bark and stuff like that. There's myself on fire. I really do want to try and start a fire with some birch bark, so I'm really hoping there'll be some there when we go. For the time being, I definitely can't just rely on the wood shavings, I don't think. My skill level certainly isn't high enough yet, so I'm going to have to take some other tinders with me, things like cotton wool with some Vaseline, petroleum jelly and stuff like that. But you know, this is why we're here, we're learning, getting better all the time. So hopefully next time we'll be able to light something without the use of cotton wool and things like that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you're new to Bushcraft, please feel free to subscribe. It genuinely means a massive amount to me. I'll put a button up in the corner to help you do that if you want to. Please like, share, subscribe, you know, all that stuff. I've already said subscribe, so I've said subscribe twice because that's how much I want it. Please share it with somebody else that you think might like this stuff, and I will see you guys in the next video when I'm going to be out and about in Wisma's Wood and Dartmoor, camping with two of my buddies. So until then, take it easy. Hope you have a great week. Peace out.